Good evening, everyone. Tonight here on TPO Esports, we do have a series between two teams that we know pretty well, and that is the TPO Goats team and the TDS Knights. Tonight, I am Jim Helper, and I'm joined by Loki Bear, Emily. How are you doing tonight,
Hello.
Loki?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited for this game. We have both of them in our Discord. Um, I've known Dark for a while. I've gotten to know the TPO Goats team from when we were at Mythic, so it's gonna be fun to see these two go against each other.
Yeah, and we do have the teams going straight into pick ban phase. Currently for TDS Knights, we have the Amumu Annie band, followed up by the Anivia for the first three, as well as Caitlin Mord, and it looks like a Zaya band coming through. And that is a quick first pick Jinx by TDS Knights as well.
Oof. I mean, if you give Dark any AD carry, I don't know. Dark's whooped me pretty bad on AD carry.
Jinx currently is something that's fairly strong in the meta. She is a good late game team fighting champion. So it does
Yes.
give a lot. That is a rel that is picked up by
Ooh.
TPO Goats, though, so it looks like they may have something in mind where they want an engage heavy bot lane to kind of counter that Jinx, and it does look like they do have it in mind. It is going to be the rel Misfortune bot lane, which is something that's heavy engaged. That Jinx is a slow moving target, so if the rel gets on top of her after level 6, she's definitely going to be able to have that Misfortune follow up with that ult.
Yes. Realm Misfortune is it is one of the stronger comps for bot lane. So
And
oh, and
that
an
is an
Alistar gets
Alistair.
picked.
So I do see what they're trying to do with the Alistair. Wait for the rel to go in and possibly engage on their own end, or even disengage where they're just using the W to send the rel back away from the team. So it is something that does have a bit of counterplay for them. Um, does look like there's a lot of dive potential though for this TDS
Yeah.
Knight team because they do have the Alistair that can engage. Now they have the Malphite R that can come in and kind of dive for that back line.
Look how my work does. It's like in the background. I'm trying to hide that.
And that is a Silas, I'm guessing mid lane.
I
Um,
mean,
he can
Silas has a lot of good ults to choose from right now.
he does have a decent amount. The Malphite ult will be a big one. He'll just
The
be
Jinx,
essentially a
I
full
was more
AP
like
Malphite.
focused on the Jinx because I mean
Um,
that can be.
it's probably not. It's probably the out of the ones that have shown, it is the worst of the three. The Alistair is going to make him a lot tankier. Malphite's going to give him that heavy duty engage and just look to blow up the backline. But we do have the second ban phase coming in. There is an Olaf banned by the TPO Goats and Swain banned by TDS Knights. So it looks like they might be thinking that it might be a Silas jungle here. That's an Aurelion Soul. Is still something that's fairly strong, even with all the
He
nerfs
is
that
set
have
to
come
get
in.
nerfed this upcoming patch though.
But he's been somebody that's been nerfed quite a few times now and is still
Yeah, and
sitting there.
he's still
And
OP.
when you have somebody that can kind of set up for those ults, like the Malphite and
Yeah.
the Alistair, it does make it fairly easy. That's why you saw Jarvan get a lot of uh, upscale in his play, as well as like his win rate in ranked went up severely because he is one of those characters that can kind of pair up well with that Aurelion Soul.
Yes.
Let's see
And we
what's
did see
here.
the Morgana ban. And like no matter who else plays it, I'm still gonna say that's a ban for that below.
This looks a lot like a Wombo combo though that we have going. for
Shim your
TPO
hair.
Goats. We do now see from TPO Goats the Rel alt, the Jarvan alt that can come through. Silas can steal that Malphite alt. And that looks like a Malphite jungle, maybe? Or a Darius jungle. Because it was
I would say
Darius and
Darius
Victor for the
jungle.
last two. Victor is a very good mid laner. There's a lot of scaling on the side of TDS Knights for them. Um, I would be very surprised if they went Darius jungle over the Malphite, because that Darius does give a bit of the early game. That's a Cassiopeia followed up
So
into
I'm
the
so
Victor.
confused. I'm so confused. Let's see if I can straighten this out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little confused by this team. So is it Silas top lane?
Um, I'm not entirely sure. It could
Because
be
like
some
I have seen
cheese.
Cassiopeia top lane.
It's been a while though
Um,
for her. But
yeah.
it would be a better matchup for her than the Victor. But I don't think Silas does well into Victor either.
No, he doesn't. Silas doesn't do well into Victor. I learned that the hard way. Um,
Because once Victor gets into that, um, I'm just gonna upgrade my E and have the second proc on it. He's gonna be out clearing the Silas and the Cassiopeia and just pushing them under. Does have the same type of scaling as Cass, um, but just has that better wave clear for
J4
himself.
top Silas jungle. That's interesting, Fred.
We'll see in just
Hi,
a few
Kylie.
moments to see where the Silas is going, because it is a bit of a fancy pick. The
I
miasma
mean,
does
just
also help to
having
set up for
having
that Jarvan and Rel.
Cassiopeia, like I don't know if I've like really seen Cassiopeia excel in any other lane, like except for mid lane, but
She's done fairly well in a lot of lanes. She had a period of time where she was getting played top, um, and then
she's been being played bot lane if you have the right support.
you just kind of want a support that either lets you get till 5 to 6 and then tries to make an all in, because it does have a bit of a scaling and it does make a bit of a safer lane into those scaling champs as well. But that's going to be a Silas top lane. Silas was just confirmed to be in top lane for
And
TPO
it's
Goats.
Darius top lane, which means it's Malphite jungle. That's interesting.
Going to be very interesting because I don't know how the Darius ult will work with Silas. It makes it so that Silas all of a sudden has um,
So
the
how is
passive.
Malphite in the jungle? Because I can't see his clear being overly great, like in the beginning, because he's
It's
extremely like mana reliant.
it's not terrible. The Jarvan's going to have a step ahead. Um,
I mean, obviously, but like it. I mean, for the few times that I played Malphite, like he is extremely mana reliant. So you're
so he does get
you
the
have a
benefit
lot of
of
that.
a blue buff coming through. Most of his stuff, damage and clear is going to come from his E and his W. Just having an AoE around him as well as the kind of splash effect from his W will help with his clear, but it's not going to be as fast as this Jarvan.
Yeah. Blue buff and jungle item mana regen. Okay. I mean, like you above everyone with no red, so.
But just based off of these drafts, how do you think this game one's going to be going?
Personally, I kind of like the TPO Goats draft because they had the Misfortune and the Rel bot lane, which Rel kind of like locks them down and lets Misfortune do her thing. They have the Jarvan who also provides that peel for the Misfortune. But they do have Darius and they do have Victor, which scales like extremely hard. Jinx is a late game carry. Alistair, heals us with the whole like minion nonsense. So I do like both teams draft, but I do have to side with TPO Goats due to just how they kind of like built the team around their AD carry.
I'm gonna go against you just based off of the fact that
Of course.
the TDS Knights kind of have that safe aspect of they have the big tanks. They have the hyper scaling mid and bot lane. They do have a counter pick in mid. Victor does well into the Cassiopeia, especially once he hits that first upgrade. He just ends up pushing wave after wave into her, and she is a bit less ranged than he is. So it does end up being a harder time for her to do anything. And they do have that early kind of aggression with the Darius top side. For those of you in the chat, I did open up the predictions so that you guys can get your votes in on who you think is going to win. So that is out now. But with that,
And
did you have anything else, Emily?
I did, but I kind of lost my train of thought. So no, I'm good.
Well, with that, we are going to go to a short spectator delay um, break so that we can get into game. But stay tuned and we will be right back.
Hello and welcome to game 1 of TDS Knights versus TPO Goats. We are setting up for a what I'm going to say is going to be a wild game. Like we mentioned previously, these two teams are well known to us here at TPO. Dark has been a great help to us for a while now since we started playing competitively, and we've gotten to know Goats through Mythic, so it's gonna be fun to watch these two teams kind of go head to head. This is the first time that they've gone against each other, so
I will say these two supports picked the best skins for
I was waiting
their
for you
champions.
to say something.
It's the Moo Cow Alistair skin, which just has the cowbell, the traditional, and then it's the Star Guardian Rel. And if those of you that haven't seen it, her control 2, when she rides the horse, it turns into a pretty little unicorn that she rides. But we're kind of off to a slow start. Some deep vision was claimed into the blue side jungle around the blue buff. But other than that, it's very interesting. It looks like the Malphite's going to start and try to get that early pressure in the early lane of top lane, where Darius wants to get ahead so that he can start steamrolling. While the Jarvan's going to look to try to set up what looks like this Misfortune and Rel in bot lane. Which is a big focus because they do have a lot.
I'm kind of expecting a lot of back and forth in the bot lane because Misfortune wants to fight earlier.
Good
good
knock-up from C's an assist there to make sure that the Rel couldn't get a knock-up herself.
That might be zoomed out too far.
One of those things that you gotta be careful and watch for. When we are setting up, just getting that zoomed out a little bit too far where you can't see much. A lot of poke damage from this.
From Cassiopeia.
Vixer, but the Cassiopeia just turns around and goes like, I hit you once with my poison, I'm just gonna continue to hit you down until you're at half health like me.
Silas is farming very well in top lane against Darius. Misfortune and Jinx are kind of just even. Looks like both 80 carries are kind of just, let me just farm up, let me get my gold, let me get my items, leave me alone. The supports always have other ideas, so.
Good flash forward and the knock up onto the Jinx. This Jinx is stunned now, is burning down the flash to make sure that the Rel can't follow from the Alistair. Does make sure that the Jinx gets out there, but the Jarvan does walk in. He is spotted by the minion wave, so he just chooses to go for that bot scuttle. Malphite's sitting there, got his topside scuttle. The Silas is gonna spot it out. I don't think he knows that the Malphite is coming top. Now the Rel and the Jarvan are mid lane looking for a gank, as well as the Malphite up in top lane. The flash from the Silas does get him out. Good flash to make sure that he doesn't give over that first blood. They did see the Rel in mid lane, so this is something that Misfortune in bot lane does have to give over that pressure on the wave there. The Alistair is running Hex Flash, so he is just trying to.
So is Rel's. Rel and Alistair both ran the Hex Flash, so.
Almost identical runes. It looks like the Rel just has the minion dematerializer, well, the Alistair does not.
Oh, I didn't even see that on her. She used it already?
She just used her last product.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't even see it. Jinx does have the Noon Quiver.
Dathlo's sitting here in mid lane on this Cassiopeia, not afraid to apply the pressure and chase down the Victor,
Kinda
who
has
hasn't really wanted to do anything besides poke.
he kind of has to be aggressive towards Victor, because if you are not aggressive, then you're kind of letting him
Dathlo
scale.
might
But
be caught out here. The flash
oh
from
no,
the cast followed by the Malphite flash. They're trying to get out, but I don't know if they can.
I don't think she gets out here.
She might be able to die to
Ooh,
turret, but the Q from the Malphite makes sure that she's not going to die to turret. And first blood goes over to Malphite after the cast steps a little bit too far forward and has to waste time.
I feel like if she went towards the tier 1 turret, maybe. I mean, regardless, it was going to be a close call.
I don't think she was going to have that chance because the Alistair was there. But it is important that she wasted enough time where no one else got an assist on that kill. It was just a kill over to the Malphite.
I mean, that's good. You don't want to give Victor any more than he already has.
It's something to notice that there is no sums in topside, so the Malphite could look for there. The Jarvan does go in with the Rel, the double knock up onto the Alistair. Unfortunately, the flash forward from the Misfortune to try getting the kill does not end up getting it, and the Alistair does burn down to the Ignite. Ult comes out from the Sylas, and the Darius oversteps and isn't able to get his ult off. Oh, he did get his ult off, but it didn't execute as Darius dies under turret.
And Sylas is able to steal Darius's ult, which eventually led to
turn around. But this is two good plays on both sides of the map. The Malphite is taking the red buff here, but TPO Goats is able to get the first Drake and start building up, and that's a Mountain Soul, which is going to make that Jarvan and the Rel a bit tankier for that team.
I have to say, these teams are like neck and neck with gold. I mean, there's a 200... TPO Ghost is doing very well with their warding. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of wards all across the map, but...
The big thing to notice is where the gold is. There's a gold lead for Malphite, but like the gold is coming out of the pocket of the Rel currently. Rel did get that kill down in bot lane, so she's sitting at a couple hundred over the Alistair currently. So that is something to notice. The Jarvan is coming in topside. He does have his ult. Does go in. They're trying to do as much damage. The Jarvan does lock them up, but they might be in a trap themselves as the Alistair and Malphite are here. The Malphite ults in to make sure that the Jarvan does not get out. The Alistair is just trying to make sure that the Sylas can't get out now. Good Malphite, stolen Malphite ult does get him out as the bot lane is able to pressure and take a turret plate there. End up being a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, mid lane, the cast is getting aggressive onto the Victor. She's diving under turret a bit aggressive as the Alistair is coming down now, and they might be able to turn. The Sylas is right behind, but the flash does come through the sidestep from Alistair to make sure that he doesn't get stunned. Sylas does go in, trying to get onto the Victor, but the Victor flashes out, and the ult does secure the kill onto the Sylas.
I just want to point out, in that fight top lane, Jinx's ult was blown trying to take out the Jarvan.
Was a big misstep though in that mid lane.
Yeah.
Kind of overstepped and hyper focused onto that Alistair. Did give Victor a kill and assist there. He's up about 10 CS. This Darius is able to also get a turret plate and some additional damage onto this top turret.
Ooh,
He's now able to bully down this Jarvan,
Oh
who
my
might die to the
God.
bleed. Jarvan
That's
steps in trying to
not
stop the
good.
Darius and dies himself.
Yeah, I don't think that that's what they wanted to do there.
No, I think he was just trying to be nice and be like, hey, I'm not going to let them bully you.
This Rel is roaming all over the map, which, I mean, so is the Alistar, which kind of leaves like bot lane to their own. They're letting Misfortune just farm up, which she's getting solo lane experience, which is good.
There has been a lot of roaming out of these two supports to try to make plays.
Yeah.
It has been a little bit more successful for the Alistar. We did see him roam top. But
They're
now
just
we
leaving bot lane.
We see like it's going to be a 5v5 potentially around this Herald. The Silas does go in. He does catch out a big Rel knockup, followed by the ult of Misfortune. Does land onto the team, but doesn't kill anyone. The cast did take a ton of damage there, as well as the Silas, as Malphite ends up getting 2 in that fight. Something to notice is the amount of damage that's going to be coming out of this Malphite. Malphite is going AP, so he does have that Night Harvester. He's not going to be as tanky, but he is going to hurt a lot.
That's interesting. I would have thought that he would have gone tank, because it doesn't really give them much of a tank. He has some Bruiser with Darius. But Misfortune was able to pick up a full Kraken Slayer,
does catch
so
out
she is the full item.
He's trying to get the kill, but the Victor's able to get there and stop the Silas with his W and then throw down his ult to make sure that the Silas goes down, saving the Malphite and that shutdown gold.
Yeah, I think that they just need to not fight so aggressively at low health, because it feels like they're getting caught like when they're low. So
I don't know if it's
I
that. That last fight, it kind of seemed separated. That last team fight where half the team was going, the Jarvan was at full health. But we have another fight up the top lane. This Darius is just looking to bully. Alistar does knock up the Jarvan. The Jarvan tries to get out, but the Rel has to Hex Flash over, and the Malphite ult does kill the Jarvan, and the Jinx is able to pick up a second kill onto the Rel. A little bit of over-aggression, trying to clear that ward, and the Rel and the Jarvan get punished.
Yeah, this is gonna be the first Drake that goes over to TDS Knights. Misfortune's about 20 CS up. Mid lane's fairly even, but top lane really needs to start farming. I feel like they're team fighting more than...
They are, but the Darius is caught now. He does flash over the wall, flash by the Jarvan to try to follow. The Q Smite does get the kill to make sure that he goes down. But meanwhile, bot lane, the Herald is dropped by TDS, trying to see if they can get some first turret plates. Damage for that first turret, but it doesn't take any plates and just does a bit of damage on it.
It did get half turret, so half the turret is down, which gives them a little bit of the upper hand from what I can see. Yeah, they're about a little... they're both pretty close to half turret. There. There's just a lot of roaming and not a whole lot of farming going on.
The Malphite does go in with the ult. Jinx is able to get a kill. Alistar decides that they're diving the turret, because he's gonna have to flash out after throwing his ult, but does die to turret and the ignite. Looks like there was a play that they were just trying to set up to make sure to get this first turret. Good ult followed up by the dive to get a 2-for-1 and likely the turret. Flash forward by the Victor to get the ult off onto the Cassiopeia, but she's able to walk out as Silas and Jarvan collapse and does get the shutdown onto the Cass.
You know, for being, it's 12-6 right now. We're at the 15-minute mark. They're up by about 4K. I'm just trying to think like what. So the Vampire Acceptor was picked up by Misfortune. That's a little odd to go without, like, instead of going collector second item. Maybe survivability, but you still want that burst damage, so.
She's trying to survive and trying to get the damage out while being behind. The collector
I mean,
would
she's
be
ahead in
optimal.
farm.
I think TPO Goats just need to start collecting these bounties now. They do have bounty golds out, so they can set that up. There's a big bounty on both the Malphite and the Jinx, so they can look for that.
Yeah, you need to shut that Jinx down. Like, you don't want to fed Jinx. Like, a Jinx that's able to just, like, scale is
Does look like they're gonna try to go for this top tier 1.
Yeah.
They do have 4 people up here, but the Sylas and Rel are playing fairly safe, as there's a 3-man down in bot side.
Yeah, they're going for that
onto
Victor.
the Victor. Does look like they're setting up for a dive. They have to do it right. It's stunned by the Cassiopeia does go down. That is a missed chance that they had there. They could have just taken the kill and got out, but the Cass was the one that took the aggro there and ended up dying to the Ignite, the tower, Leandri's burn, and the ult of Victor.
And Misfortune is backing. She was at half health, but I feel like she could have just kept pushing to get some of that turret gold.
It was a bit too dangerous there, because she wasn't going to get that full turret. And
yeah.
TDS just took that mid lane turret, and you saw that they immediately just moved into that bot side jungle of TPO.
Yeah, they're trying to get vision of the buffs there, just because there is a dragon spawning in 50 seconds. So we've also got Herald that's coming up in 10. So I'm guessing that they're going to want to focus on the dragon versus the Herald.
Yeah, both these teams would feel nice on this dragon of Jinx a bit more. Would absolutely love to have that Hextech Drake and Hextech Soul to give her a bit more attack speed. Going
like
for her.
Hextech. Where's Chemtech? I want Chemtech. There should be no dragons in the game but Chemtech.
No. But it does look like the TPO Goats are deciding not to fight here, to just try to stall out the game a bit. Because they are going in to try to take that Herald, just get some type of bounty gold here while giving up just the second Drake. Or, yes, Darius is going in by himself. He's getting locked up and knocked down by the Sylas with the stolen Darius ult. Flash forward by the big Malphite ult onto the Misfortune as she was ulting. The Darius ult from Sylas is coming in big though, as he's able to get 3 kills out of that fight. The only one for TPO that went down currently is that that Misfortune who got the Malphite ult on top of that. But that's a big shutdown onto this Sylas. Sylas got.
I'm so confused.
Got. Say it was. Big ult by the Cass, but the Victor ult does dissuade her and burn her down. Victor's hitting hard, but the Sylas is teleporting in behind, might be able to catch out this Jinx and shut her down as well. Flash away from the Jinx to make sure it gets out, and the Jinx ult does come out to hit the Rel there, who is trying to back. Flash forward from Darius. Good flash by Misfortune to get away from that pullback from the Darius there.
Misfortune picked up plated steel caps.
going for a bit defensive, just kind of saying like, I don't need to worry about the auto attacks. I want to make sure that I'm not just getting auto to death, but you can see TDS is just zoning out TPO from this. The Cass is gonna face check onto the Darius. She's already at half health. The bleed is out there, and she just gets dunked by this Darius. Now the Darius and the Alistar are going in, but the massive Malphite ult, but he's squishy. He's gonna go down here once again. A Malphite ult from the Sylas. They're onto the Victor, and now onto the Jinx as well. Big fight here by TPO Goats as the Darius and Alistar do go overstep there. As it ends up being a 5-for-1. And that's big gold onto Misfortune as well. This could turn the tides here, as the gold is essentially even here.
I mean, like, normally I'd be like, what is that Misfortune ult? But it literally sealed the fate of the Jinx, who had that massive bounty, so...
Yeah, they definitely wanted the bounty to go onto the Jinx so that they could get matched
This
up.
is a little scary of a Baron to do at such low health.
They have enough shields and everything like that, but they do need to make sure to get out. The Sylas might get sacrificed here if he's not careful, and they don't pull him there, so he is able to get out. All 5 members were able to get out there for TPO Goats. So they do have currently Baron buff on that, and it does look like they're going to be in more control of this game after an overstep by the Darius and Alistar ends up being costly.
They just need to focus on turrets, and they need to focus on wrapping up the game. That's one thing that I've noticed, is that they have, like, they're good at team fights. They're, like, taking objectives, like they're doing fine on it. Just ending the game.
Gonna be force of flash. Malphite ult does come out, and the Jinx. Jinx ult as well as Cassiopeia just goes down. Gets oversteps as the Misfortune was clearing red buff. Rift Herald is dropped topside, but it's currently TDS that's pushing these waves. Big ult from the Misfortune onto a large group, but they're able to continue pushing forward. The Misfortune's on the backline trying to fight off, but so is the Jinx. The damage is there for both teams as they're going through, but it's something that we have to watch out, as the Jinx was able to just continually auto there.
Yeah, and her ult is about to be up again.
It does look like the top turret is going to go down from the Herald for them. Do have about 15 seconds till the next Drake, so everybody's going to be up. That's likely going to be the next big fight there.
Yeah.
Neither team, TPO definitely is going to look to potentially fight for this one. Bit of a late back from this Misfortune. Yes, there's Hex Gates, but TPO is going to be walking blindly into this river as they don't have any vision, and TDS kind of was slow to get in there. They're currently trying to play Death Bush, but Darius keeps on walking in and out of the bush.
The Misfortune does not have her ult, but Jinx does.
You're looking for the Misfortune. The Misfortune is engaged on by the Malphite. She's got no heal as she's trying to 1v1 the Malphite. They're flashing forward, trying to get this Darius. He does get a big heal off of his Q.
Oh no.
A 2-for-2 currently.
I hate to see them like just over chase and give up this dragon completely.
No, it looks like they're gonna be able to
backing.
Get this Drake, but there is a lot of potential. Nobody hit that blast cone. Malphite could have looked into it to try to get it. They do have vision over it though. They now make sure that the blast cone's gone, so nobody can go in without the flash. So now it's 2-for-2 for those dragons.
And there's only a 700 gold difference between these two teams.
Very back and forth game. And close game as it is.
Absolutely.
Silas, after a slow start, has come up and shown that he can play big. Currently 6-2-9 with his own 500 gold bounty.
So Alistair, just to point out, Alistair has not completed his support item and does not have a mythic. Where Rel has her mythic and has her support item completed.
She has gotten a bit more gold than this Alistair has.
Yeah, just at 25,
kills.
almost 26 minutes, you kind of want that completed.
Oh, I didn't even notice that you said support item. Yeah, that's from him roaming so much. He was not in lane, that wasn't really with anybody for an extended period of time to make sure that he was getting those procs. So he is going to be a little bit delayed on the ability of how many wards he can carry, but he is doing fairly well. They're about even in that vision score.
I was gonna make a comment, but I don't remember who didn't finish their support item for back when we were in Daddy's Winner. It was either Mike or Bowline, I forget who it was.
But we do have Baron up in a minute, so these teams are going to look to kind of pressure over this, kind of do the battle to exchange vision, who has control of the river, who's able to place down their vision to make sure that they're able to walk in safely or not. Darius is kind of stepping forward, does use that Scryer's Bloom to kind of get vision of the team in the jungle. They are pressing forward, but this time they're doing it as a 5-man. It looks like they did learn from that bad fight before the last Baron. They don't want half the team engaging without the other half.
But tier 1 just fell 2 minions.
That will be helpful in regards to pressure, because that is a wave that's pushing in their favor. TPO does gain control of the river, is trying to play the game of guess where the pony is with this Rel to see if they can possibly get a big engage or all. Baron is started to kind of add some pressure. The Alistair does go in to get a little bit of knock-up damage. Silas has stolen that Alistair ult as well, so he can dive in and be tanky.
Everyone's ults are up here. What is...
Trying to wrap around so that they can get control of their own jungle again. Kind of like a cat and mouse game right now. Nobody wants to flinch and nobody wants to be the one to make the wrong engage. Mr. Sadman is taking a lot of poke damage here. Miss Fortune did back, but she did not back on any vision, so they currently don't know that she's not with the rest of the team. She does now have the Bloodthirster and the Infinity Edge, so she is going to start hurting a lot. The Rel is pulled over. Big Malphite ult under turret onto the Misfortune and the Rel. They're going forward to try to fight. Shut down onto the Malphite, but the Alistair is just peeling for the back line, as well as the Darius. They're able to just get away with this. The Darius is trying to chase down, but she's not able to do a flash forward from the Alistair to make sure that the Misfortune does go down. A 5-for-2 in the long run, and this should be that turret as well as at least that inhib turret, if not some damage onto these next hit.
I think that's going to be game.
I don't think there's enough time for it to be game. The Rel and Cass and Jarvan's going to be up shortly. So it does give them that pressure. It's going to give them a massive control over this Baron and Dragon on whatever they choose. It does look like, just based off of Malphite's movement, that they are going to go for the Dragon. There's no vision down there. for either of the teams. The Silas ended up teleporting in to see if they can get anything on this Baron. But
So they're
TPO
gonna trade
Goats is
Baron
just
for
making a
Dragon.
call for Baron. They're like, they don't have vision of it. We just checked. They haven't responded yet. They might be thinking that something's going on
Darius
now.
and Alistair are heading out.
They're moving down. They don't have the damage up there
Oh
yet.
my gosh. A
The
Jinx
Alistair
wall.
and the Darius are there, but they're not anywhere in position. The Cassiopeia ult does go wide. The Darius gets heavy damage from the Misfortune ult, but isn't dead yet. The Alistair and Darius are able to just waste time as Malphite gets in on the backline again and is able to. And TDS is just able to shred through TPO, who tried to take that Baron without that Misfortune there to do the heavy amount of damage that they needed. They are chasing down the Rel, and they're going to look for the win because there is those super minions in the base already hitting the turret. The Rel's trying to get back to Fount to at least heal up. I don't think she's going to be able to defend, though. There's
No,
about
she
10
can't.
seconds on Silas. Game 1 does go over to TDS here.
I mean, it was a fairly close game for most of the game. It just kind of like, it's like that one fight that just like turns everything and it's just game.
Yeah, it was just a quite questionable call there from TPO to kind of just say that they were going to try to go for that sneaky Baron, but didn't have the damage there yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
The Misfortune wasn't there, wasn't able to kind of apply that pressure to make it so that it was a bit better for them to take it. So it was very slow. So it would have been something better if the Misfortune had gotten there right away, because then they could have been well beyond half when the Darius and Alistair got there. But
yeah.
just a very interesting call to make for that game 1. We do have
Well,
game
and
2
it
on its
is
way shortly, though.
also only game 1, so TPO does have a chance to redeem themselves. Oops, what am I missing here? Spectator. I do think it was a close game. I think that had um they had some like really good team fights. I think the Misfortune not picking up the collector, I mean, in my opinion it's important, but
At the time, she was a bit behind.
she was, but like I mean, again, this is just my personal thing. Like, even if I'm behind, I still pick it up.
And I don't think she had that time to do it. I think that Malphite was a big answer into that Misfortune. Every time we almost saw almost every time that she ulted, it was followed up by that Malphite diving in to make sure that her ult what didn't go off in full. And
Yeah.
she had to essentially try to peel for herself and back off and deal damage to the Malphite, which is why we saw that Vampiric Scepter early and her going
Yeah.
Bloodthirster second.
I mean, I think everyone played very well. It was just it was, yeah, I don't really know what the diff was. I know that the Silas could have used to find more, but it wasn't a make it or break it, so.
But we are going into draft for game 2 here. So there is going to be a bit of a change, hopefully, for both these teams, because they did have a lot that kind of both of them could have gotten rid of. We do see the Caitlyn banned again, as well as that Amumu. Both.
I hope that they ban the Jinx, honestly. Take the comfort away from Dark.
I don't think the Jinx was the problem. The Misfortune could have handled the Jinx if she had more time.
Yeah.
I think the Malphite had a lot. more presence in those fights, which he was just constantly able to get onto that back line. And we do see the Malphite get banned here, so that is the hey, we don't want to deal
Stop
with this
banning
again.
Annie.
Annie is something that's currently able to be played both mid
She's
and bot.
she is so overpowered right now that I mean I would ban her or take her. Oh. Okay.
We do see the Xayah first pick here, followed
I
up
hope it's the new Xayah scanner, else it'll make me very sad.
by what looks like the Jinx again on the side of TDS Knights, and it is locked in. So we do see the Jinx there coming through for this team. Gonna go with the same bot lane, or are they gonna change it up? Haven't really looked into what Sees and Assist has been playing of late, so I don't know what he does. But that's gonna be a blind pick Scion for that top lane, looking for that scaling tank aspect. Bit of slower. I think both teams are kind of sitting there trying to wait and trying to see what's the option here for the other team, kind of outthink and outdraft each other. We do see the Cho'Gath get locked in.
Yeah, the Cho'Gath answer to the Scion, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're both potentially big tanky late game tanks up in that top lane, so it's kind of set in stone on what the top lane wants to do. They just want to farm up, scale, get a few noms, make sure that minions are going down.
Noms. All right, and the
Do see the
last pick,
Rakan come through for,
Rakan.
so that's going to be a Xayah Rakan bot lane. They do have the built-in automatic synergy of the
Yep.
two characters. Can be
Can you guys
played well.
please dance in lane or something? I want to see the Xayah Rakan dance.
So
All
we're
right,
waiting for that
and
last,
it's going to be a Thresh.
which is a counter to that Rakan. When the Rakan does go in, if the Flay is
Mm-hmm.
timed right, it can just cancel that knock up from the Rakan. Can even
It
pull
can
him out
cancel
of
the
a
knockup?
dash back. Yep,
I did
it
not
can
know that.
cancel that. It just has to be timed right. So when the Rakan does get to you, instead of landing there, he just gets essentially pushed back or pulled towards you.
There's a Morgana and Olaf fan that comes through again. I'm waiting to see if Darius gets banned this time, because as much as it wasn't like he wasn't like a big issue, he still has that bleed. He still has the ability to, pull you in, and he's just irritating. So, and we're he's so
Aurelion Sol
sweet.
and Swain banned again. Not much ban changes by either team. The Malphite ban, I believe, is the only new one that they have for the two teams. It's a quite bit interesting.
I don't know. I do like the draft so far. There's a set.
That can be a set mid or a Scion mid.
Or just that top Cyan jungle.
I'm not a huge
I
fan of Scion
literally saw
jungle.
a Cyan. I saw a Cyan jungle in one of the other orgs that played the other night that I was peeking in on, and I was like, what?
Not a fan of the Scion jungle because you don't get as much scaling early, so you aren't as health tank as much. But that is a Maokai coming out. I'm guessing in the hands of Mr.
Sadman.
Sadman. It is
Yep.
something that was often banned for him previous
I was just
weeks.
gonna say, I think it's been like Mr. Sadman has not been able to play Maokai like for most of the season in the other leagues because they've constantly bandit, and there's the Vagar for Sir Deathlow in the mid lane. No. Who's going where?
We're just waiting on that last pick to see what it is. That is an Ari that they're hovering currently.
So is it a set jungle?
I would say so, just because the set works out. But that's going to be a Zig, so that's definitely a Zig's mid. Um, and it's going to be up to either the Scion or Set to be in that jungle. Both can play jungle here, so it is something that's going to have to be watched out for and taken care of.
Or decided that they wanted to cast this. They should have picked Mordekaiser. I'm just saying. Alright, let's see, where's everyone going? I hope it's a set jungle.
Will be interesting to see either way, because Scion does like going into those lanes.
Set
Set does have a bit of counterplay, but I think the Set also works well into these big beefy tanks. He's going to want to ult that front line into the back line and deal that big damage.
I'd be yell at Dark. He can't stop banning Annie.
Listen, players are just afraid of Annie right now. It's kind of like they're afraid of Aurelion Sol.
Aurelion Sol, there's a reason to be afraid of Aurelion Sol.
I see that
That
Caitlyn's
ult
still getting
is
banned, even though
massive.
that she did get a quite decent sized nerf.
Well, so did Zaya, but it's
Zaya's still strong in the mid lane, mid game. It's just that she's not as much into the end game.
so it's definitely it'd be a Chotap.
It's
It's
gonna be a
set
set
top.
Scion. So it's set top and Scion jungle. So we
Oh,
are gonna hear that roar from the Scion as he's coming in for those ganks.
yep.
It's something to notice. The Scion ult cannot be stopped by the Maokai because it just places him underneath the Scion and not like directly in front of him. So if the Scion ults away and the Maokai's trying to stop him with that W, it is not going to succeed in stopping that. Because by the time that he re-pops out of that ground, he's going to be behind the Scion instead of on top of the Scion.
That's not good for you.
But Emily, who do you think is going to win game 2 now? Now that we've seen the draft.
So Ziggs has enormous potential mid lane. It's probably one of the most irritating champions because you have like just the constant like chipping thrown at you. But you have the baby cage from Vagar, you have the saplings from Maokai, you've got the knockup from the Rakan in for and blah blah blah. The Rakan Zaya bot lane is a great combo. Cho'Gath at top can be extremely impactful if he's able to get his ultimates off. I think honestly it's going to depend on who can scale faster because Ziggs is gonna take turrets like it's his job. Like that's the one thing about Ziggs that drives me insane is that like once it gets to a certain point, he puts that ability on it and it just blows up the turrets. So honestly, like I think both teams drafted really well. It's just gonna depend on how they scale and how they come through with everything. So I don't know if I can honestly decide who would win the game.
It is something that's tough. There's a little bit more scaling on the side of TDS Knights. The Zaya won't scale as much as the Jinx. Vagar will outscale the
Honestly, I
Ziggs,
think
but Scion is
TDS
gonna
because
outscale the
doesn't set counter
Maokai.
and doesn't set take turrets really? I mean, he can. How much? How much? How much we gonna vote? I want
But
to
we are going
say
to go on to a brief spectator
I'm not
delay
too sure.
as
So
we do load into game. So
500.
we will be right back. See you shortly.
Oops. Hello and welcome back to a pause in game two.
To an immediate pause.
Okay. Um, I'm sure that there is a good reason. Let's see what that reason is.
Somebody probably had to go run to the bathroom quick as they loaded
They
into game.
they mentally disconnected. Who do you see mid game? There will be a short little lapse when the game is unpaused.
It'll freeze for like a moment and then it'll go back
Small
automatically.
indie company things.
Talking about Riot never has any issues with anything in their game. There's nothing wrong with League of Looters.
Legal traders.
But this is a
It's a
just
great
based off
start.
of game one. I don't think either team's gonna try to go for any early shenanigans.
Somebody give me early game shenanigans, please.
I don't think either team really has anything set up for it. Looks like Notorious TLP might have been the one that was still waking up. He was a little bit hesitant to get out of there.
Oh,
We do see the pause here.
Yep. Extremely long pause.
Gonna come back shortly. It's just always pain. But we do see the full 5-man of TDS look in this bot lane, so looks like we might end up with some shenanigans. But there is vision down where it's needed to be to kind of spot out this invade. Maokai's already moving towards topside as well. They do see all 5 go over. They do get the ward, but they're now getting forced to walk out. Malphite and Cho'Gath are kind of walking towards this topside jungle. Not Malphite, Maokai.
Are they gonna go for it?
Maybe. They haven't moved towards it. They're kind of positioning in a way where they can. They might just end up catching out Set here. Set does find the Veigar there. So they do spot out the Veigar. The Veigar's just going to walk out.
There's
as well
a
as
few
the
exchanges
Maokai
here.
and Cho'Gath just walk out. And it's going to be both sides starting at blue. The Scion's going to get a little head start because the Maokai and Cho'Gath stayed in that jungle for so long before kind of backing away. So not as big of a leash for this Maokai.
How did Jinx get a CS?
They killed the ward in the tri-bush.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that threshold just missed.
The Veigar's getting a lot of pokes from this.
Yep.
Ziggs already.
They were. TDS was able to hit level 2 first, so.
Yeah, it's kind of shown that when you hit level 2 first, it does create that good W from the Rakan to make sure that he doesn't get hit by that hook onto Thresh. We're looking to use that level advantage to kind of bully all three of these lanes. Now all 3 are pushed in.
And the Cho'Gath is very much behind in CS.
That's a big wave though, so he can catch up here. Just has to do it right. It's getting once again bullied by the Set. A good hook by the Thresh, trying to get some damage onto the Xayah. Both 80 carries are dropped to about half health. No, some spell burnt down bot side during that fight. Thresh is looking for another hook and does not land it. Something to notice is that this Rakan is going to be able to potentially heal up this Xayah with his Q.
Yeah.
And keep her healthier long run.
Nice stun by the
Set is Scion trying to kind of figure out where the Maokai is. They do see the Maokai on vision now in bot river. Cho'Gath has stepped up, but he looks like he might be caught out here. The silence, good silence to kind of try to get him closer to that turret. He is going to be able to walk out off of this gank.
Kind of a premature gank by Scion.
I think they were just trying to get that additional pressure.
Malphite's backing on a ward.
Scion is looking to see what they can find. Might look like he might potentially dive.
We're kind of left Xayah like hanging.
The hook does
Oh, no.
land by the Thresh. This might be a really bad play by this Rakan, as the Xayah was forced to blow both heal and flash. Rakan does
Oh, there we
W
go, there
in,
we
but
go.
doesn't get the heal onto that Xayah. Meanwhile,
That's not
topside, the
good.
Cho'Gath was forced to flash to make sure that they weren't hit by the W of the set.
Yeah, this Shogath is a little bit behind here, but I
Set
know that they can catch up here.
Set is a bit of a lane bully, especially into matchups that are tanks, such as the Cho'Gath. Kind of pull him out because he just has that better base damage itself.
So Xayah was able to pick up Noon Quiver on the first back.
Jinx should
Looks
be
like
able to pick
bottom.
up the Noon Quiver and a bit more.
Yeah.
Does look
She
like she
exchanged
upgrades.
potions for the refillables. Just a stat check here. Veigar has 25 stacks, so 89 ability power. I don't know how to read Cho'Gath. Oh, Cho'Gath doesn't have anything yet because he hasn't hit 6, but...
It just hit 6 now.
Doesn't, like...
Cyan also has stats based off of the minions that he killed. They're fighting up in top lane. A little bit of damage back and forth.
Cho'Gath is level 6 now.
Both top laners are level 6. Xayah's here alone again. Looks like the Thresh is taking the change for that top side from last game where they aren't roaming as much.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to clear
looking to
vision.
try to set up vision, get the ball rolling, but nothing's really been a success so far. CS deficits in 2 lanes.
What do you mean?
Both
I mean, the
Jinx
mid lane's even.
Both Jinx and the set are ahead currently.
Jinx is only ahead by 5. Yeah, not as massive.
Yeah, but she had a wave there. Ult's in by the set.
Oh my
The
goodness.
set does end up getting first blood, but might die here to the turret. But no, he's able to get out of the turret. Didn't extend his life. The Maokai does step into the set, as well as the Rakan. They are looking for a fight, but the Ziggs is able to roam first. The Ziggs does not get the Xayah into him. Maokai's gonna be the sacrifice here, as a flash forward as well as a flay does get a double kill over to this Jinx. Big misstep as the Veigar wasn't in a position to come help. First strike is gonna go to the TDS. Khan was there, he just got out and then kept running. But this is gonna be big for that Jinx, as she's gonna be able to get that mythic first.
Yeah.
Currently 10 CS up and 2 kills as well. That's a lot of gold difference. About 900 gold lead in that bot lane. Didn't get any turret plates off that.
Oh. AD carry disconnected. Okay.
Downfall did disconnect. Unfortunately, it was into the awaiting arms of the Jinx and the Thresh. A bit unfortunate of a disconnect.
Yeah.
Do have another pause due to the Riot client. We just kind of sit there and see what's likely going to expect to happen. Xayah's going to go down again, and it's going to go down to the Jinx, making her 3-0. The Thresh.
He went down to a Thresh.
The Thresh does take the kill. I think that's a little bit of a troll moment. If you're given a free kill, you might as well give it over to the Jinx and make it so that it's a bit better.
That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, as the Xayah definitely did need to get ahead early, but isn't currently ahead. Maokai's top side, but is on vision, so they do know that he's there.
It looks like he's setting up. Come in.
The Maokai ult does come out, but the set ult does come out as well. Flash forward from the set. As the set's able to turn around and take the 1v2, Ziggs and Cyan do show up to provide some assistance if needed, but I don't know if the Cyan even needed an ult in there. Set was able to just win the 1v2 with minimal help from the Ziggs ult that didn't land, as well as the Cyan ult that hit with that splash damage. Big misplays by this TPO Goats lineup, as it does look like they're starting to fall behind heavily. 4.2 thousand down currently on this team. The game's currently 6-0 in the favor of TDS.
Yeah.
We're starting to see these CS leads just expand. 47 to 83 in the top lane, 59 to 80 in the bot lane. They are dropping the Herald mid to try getting some turret plates gold and set up that Ziggs to take as much as possible. Ooh. The ult does come out from the Cho'Gath, but I don't think he read the health, or he didn't just time it right and ended up not getting the stack for his ult usage. Maokai is caught out. They're forced to blow the ult, but does go down to the Jinx. Jinx is excited going forward. A double kill for the Jinx. A triple kill for the Jinx.
Triple kill? Oh no.
TDS is just starting to run away with this game after missteps from the bot side. Does get the Jinx ahead at 2-0, and she's just able to expand further and further. The Jinx is already scaling and gonna have Mythic on the next back for sure, sitting at 1700 gold currently in the pocket, over 2100 ahead of the Xayah in gold.
Yeah.
Big CS leads as we now see the not CS leads, big gold leads as we now see the gold lead expand to almost 8,000 gold at this 12-minute mark.
I feel like this is a big 80 carry game. This Jinx has kind of spiraled like out of control. They're gonna need to shut them down.
I don't even think that it's a big 80 carry game, because this set is taking fights and not caring. Currently 1v3ing, hitting everybody hard with just the Vampiric Scepter. The Ziggs does turn around and is able to
Oh
the
my
set's
gosh.
still alive in a 1v3 that the Ziggs shows up too late and gets a triple kill. The set's able to just fight and not care that the rest of that he's completely outnumbered.
No, he doesn't care. He's level 11 compared to all of them.
Miles ahead of this Cho'Gath currently. Got almost 50 CS up on them already. You see the poke from the Ziggs start going through as the Misfortune dies. Not Misfortune. The Xayah dies walking into the minefield. But the Cho'Gath is coming back in, but he's walking into the Ziggs and the set, and I don't think he wants to be there. That was extremely questionable. You're already behind. You're walking into the Ziggs and likely the set there. I understand that you're trying to defend this turret and stop the bleeding, but they're just giving everything over.
It's Ziggs things. Like, he just touches the turret and he's dead.
And you see the Xayah take a huge chunk from that W, and the Jinx ult does come out and snipes the Zaya from long range.
Oh,
Now
no.
the Veigar is getting caught out by the Fresh and the Scion. As he goes down, the game's running away from it. And TPO Goats currently has nothing for essentially their participation into this game. Could TDS be on the way to get a perfect game?
They have no deaths. They have
no
zero
deaths. 0 objectives taken. They got Herald, they got both dragons.
And they have tiers 1 and 2 in top lane. This is not looking too promising for TPO Goats. It's only 14 minutes into the game. There has been worse games that have been turned around, but they're gonna have to play a little bit better than what they have done.
It'd have to be massive throws.
Yeah. I believe. Somebody kill that Jinx.
I don't even think it's the Jinx. You gotta fight through everybody.
I mean,
everybody has a mythic or an item on their side. Besides the Thresh, who's sitting there just kind of roaming around, making sure that nobody's kind of creating any flanks.
This is a completely different game than Game 1. Felt like Game 1 was so close, and now it's just... I mean,
Game 1 was much closer, but you're seeing that TDS isn't afraid to play with their pockets. The set flashing forward, trying to land that E. Ziggs ult just coming out. Huge chunks onto the Zaya and Rakan. The Jinx ult just comes out and gets the kill. Now the Scion and Set ult onto the team. They don't care about the turret anymore. They're just fighting. The Veigar does throw out his ult trying to get a kill, but isn't able to kill the Scion.
Yeah, I don't think there is any coming back. Normally I like to be positive about something, but I don't see anything coming back.
The Set might die to the turret here.
Ooh.
And he does, so that's a big...
Veigar.
Oops, sorry guys, I kind of ruined our perfect game here. By that
Veigar does have 122 stacks, which is 188 AP, but...
He's nowhere close to be the carry that's needed. Now the Cho'Gath is caught out again. Not sure why he's there. The dragon wasn't up. You were completely by your own, and there was no check for vision. TDS is just going to take that kill, and now they're just going over to the Heralds. Tried just expanding their lead even more. It's about a 14,000 gold lead at the 17-minute mark.
Apparently Wimble is trolling after he was called daddy on stream. That's rough. You can't just do that to somebody.
This is overstaying a bit, but I don't think they can catch out to him. This Khan fully engages and tries to get the kill onto him, but the Set's able to block off. The Set goes in on 4 and just instantly knocks down the
Holy crap.
Veigar and the Rakan.
How many?
Rakan trying to get a kill onto that Ziggs just ends up paying for his life for the overcommitting.
This Cho'Gath only has 1 nom. On a minion.
He's not gonna be anywhere near tanky.
Yeah, he's...
Even just
he had a rough start.
He just needs to start devouring.
Like anything and everything.
TPO Goats aren't even looking at potentially stepping out of base currently. They've seen...
I mean, they really can.
...seen a ton of pressure go against them, and fight after fight go against their favor. The one kill that they have Kinda was a bit of a troll as the set just kinda dove turret for the Vagar.
Ugh. I mean, I don't really know what to say. They need to turtle, and this Cho'Gath needs to get some noms in. He's up at 2. He's at 2 now, but and the Vagar's at 142 stacks at 19 minutes. So
Set goes under turret trying to find stun there. Cyanol is coming out.
Cyanald.
He is looking for bot side.
Oh my god.
Misses his ult and is behind the turret. The Thresh does land on Lantern. He's stuck under turret though. Might go down. The set goes in, but the Rakan does not get the Thresh. And the set's able to get under turret and get a second kill.
Oh my god.
It's 20 minutes and they're walking into base, trying to apply the pressure. The Vagar does get hooked and killed by the Thresh. Some monumental stomp by TDS in this game.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the set, quote unquote, inting and giving away a kill, it would have been a perfect game according to Twitch chat. So it looks like TDS is backing. It looks like they want that Baron.
They're just trying to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong, essentially.
Give TPO some time to get back into this game. Y'all are like 20k up on them.
Almost.
Yeah. Let him have Baron. Give him something.
Most people think that is enough to bring them back to the game at this point. They're so far behind. The Vagar just got crowned and is working on Zonia as well. The Ziggs has Seraphs and Leandries. Jinx is on 2 items versus the 1 from Zaya. There's the Mythic and part of an item for Thresh over just the Mythic for Rakan. Cho'Gath doesn't even have Mythic yet.
No,
Malachi
he went
has an
Bramble
item,
first.
but doesn't have Mythic and doesn't even have his Smite item complete. Sitting at 1. Cyan's going in, trying to land what onto the team, but isn't able to hit much as she ends up just diving the turret. Cyan might end up going down here. Bit of an overstep. They are on top of the set, but Set's just going in. He's just saying, I want to fight. Flash forward from him as he just decides that he's going to take the team. He's landing those haymakers, punishing the team as he's tanking turrets, and he goes down a second time.
He died again. He died
to
again.
add insult after already throwing away the perfect game. But this is just remarkable, just how much the TDS Knights were able to just take control of the game and just keep going. They got their foot on the gas and they just stomped and kept going.
Yeah, I mean it was a rough game for TPO Goats. With that set doing 25,000 damage, and like the next closest on the side of TPO Goats would have been the mid laner Vagar at 9,000. It was just, this was a rough game.
The Cyan didn't have to be involved that game.
No.
Because of how much ahead that set was. Cyan did under 4,000, did less damage than the Thresh did. Just a little bit more than the Rakan did on the losing side. but it was just massive all around between the damage that the Ziggs had and then the set just continually wanting to 1v1.
Yeah, I mean the Thresh was like pretty much the uh the entire team there.
You mean set, not Thresh?
Yeah, that one. Set was pretty much like the entire team. I mean, he just kind of like wiped the board.
It just kept going, kept fighting. Was like, I'm not trapped here with you. You're trapped in here with me at points.
All right. Well,
Big
that
2-0 and GG's to both teams. Tough
yes.
losses for TPO Goats and um, definitely a dominating game two from TDS. But that's going to be it for us tonight. Um, do you have anything else to say, Emily?
I don't. I mean, I look forward to watching TPO Goats as we, continue through the Blue Otter League. I think that we're gonna start going into the ZGG series. So I look forward just to seeing them grow as a team. It looks like we have a few new players coming in for the TPO Goats. So I'm excited to see where everyone goes.
Right.
But good game to both teams. You all played very well.
And thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. And have a nice night.
Peace. Yeah.